power forward seated. So however much you turn your wrist, you don't have to actually turn the throttle, but get your hand light on the throttle and go like this. Okay? And then come back off. Alright, so we're power, off to neutral. Okay? So let's add a third position into it, which is this position is not used very often. Okay? It's used about the same amount as your neutral, maybe 1% of the track. There's a switchback corner that you don't need to stand up in between. Then you do your brake position seated. There's one position that comes to mind on the pros that you see it happen a lot. Does everyone, can you imagine, jump, finish line, tight 180, go across the start straight, right? Or then just accelerate it super hard into a left 180. Right? Can you guys see that? I see that in a lot of races. They don't stand up there typically. They come out, they stay seated, they accelerate super heavy, and then you see this motion. Boom! And they drop back like this, the backhand kind of kicks out, they let the backhand kind of fade into the corner, and then they're out of the corner. Right? But it's not a stand-up thing. Unless it gets braking bumps, then they stand up. So that would be the scenario that you would use that in. That doesn't happen very often on a traditional motocross track where it's smooth and it's a switchback real fast. Maybe there's a part of mini O's where there's like a switchback and kind of jump there, but so let's all think about this and let's go through the three-part series. So what we're going to do is go to neutral seated. You guys show me good accelerated seated. When you go accelerated seated, I want your chest to go first. Right? So this part of your body leads. It's not this, it's this, so we can see. Okay? And then from here, okay, I got both fingers on the levers here. From here, we've got to go off throttle. So let's just imagine we're on throttle. We've got to go off throttle and meet the brakes at the same time. So when this throttle meets the stopper, your foot should be braking. Okay? Here's the quickest way to fix your feet. Here's the quickest way to improve your straightaway speed is to figure out how to get rid of your coast. Okay? And this is just going out and doing drills where like, nope, you coasted for a second. You should go off throttle, and when you land off throttle, does everyone understand where I'm going with this? When you turn your throttle off and it stops, your brake should already be on. Okay, it's not throttle off, coast 25 feet, then hit our brakes because we know we need to, and then get into the corner. Right? We'll never have the ability to generate speed safely like that. We've got to be able to hold the throttle until we hit our brakes. Can anyone raise their hand and tell me what's the one thing that you could do to create speed on the track with comfort? Immediately. Like what's the first thing that you could do to change that?
Stand up.
Nope. I mean, it would help.
Elbows up.
Nope. Anyone else can give you one more shot?
Feet in the right position.
Wrong. Get really good with your brakes. Okay? Like your braking drill should be probably 50 to 60% of your drills that you start on, right? Like I want your braking position, your modulation, everything to be perfect. Right? Because if you can slow your bike down, who's overshot a corner before? Went over the berm? Everyone raise their hand. I'm sure everyone's done it, right? Right? Now, Rick, put your hand down. We're going to reset. Now, whose parents told them they're going too slow in the corners? Okay, put your hand down. Put your hand down. Parents, sorry about this. Now, whose parent has taken you out in the field and done braking drills with you for hours? Like 4.5 of you? Okay. Parents, this is for you. This is for you guys too, because you got to hold yourself accountable. Your parents aren't always going to be there to make you do it. Okay? Most of the time it needs to be your idea. Okay, but we kind of have to understand where this all comes from. Like, you're going too fast in the corner. My dad was the worst, and Big Chris was the one like, hold the gas till you hold the crash till you crash. Right? I remember the days like, kids, hold it till you fall. I'm like, okay, I guess we will, you know? Which is quite scary. Right? But looking back, I'm like, man, I just wish I had had someone tell me how to use my brakes really well. Because then I would have had all the confidence in the world to hold the gas until you literally needed the brakes to get to the part of the corner that you want. And so that anxious feeling of feeling like you're being pushed into the corner really hard, it messes up the middle of your corner. You forget to shift down, so your clutch not super heavy coming out. You jam up your corner, so you kill all your straightaway speed, which is like a Dade City no-no. Right? We've all been there at Dade City. We were running in on the rider, we jam up the corner, and they pull us 3 seconds. We catch up to them, we run it in, we jam up the corner, they pull us 3 seconds. Right? We can't be that rider. We have to be fluid and time our passes. Okay? So parents, we all understand braking is it. Braking is it. Figure out how to do braking, one-handed braking drills, heavy power forward, heavy brake back, change the terrain. Okay, Okay, you can break it hard back. Let's go to the sand. Let's figure out what the ratio of the front to back is there, how much weight we need to use. Let's go to big braking bumps. Let's go to ruts. We got straightaway ruts coming in the corners. Can you do all of this the same and perfect in all these different scenarios? Okay, now drive it into the corner. Now you're ready, right? And guess what? You won't even have to say it. You won't have to say it out loud. You don't have to ask them to do the things that you can notice on the track anymore because they'll feel comfortable enough to do it on their own. If they're real racers, you'll know. They'll do it on their own. They'll use the technique that they've developed on their own. Okay? So we all understand how important braking is, right? All right, so let's work this motion a little bit here. So we go from neutral seated. Okay, in theory, neutral seated, first part of the corner. Accelerate seated, what part of the corner is accelerate seated? Middle to out, right? Coming out of the corner. And let's just imagine we're going into another corner, right? We're going to stay seated. So let's go neutral seated, everyone there. Show me. Let's accelerate out of the corner. We're wide open, right? Right? And then under braking, we snap back. Okay, we're quick back. Now I want your ears to be right above your hips here. I don't want it to be back. I want your arms to be straight. A little bit in your arms. Ears right above your hips. You have to engage your core to not feel like you fall into your arms here. Okay? If you're around here, you're all in your arms. Alright, let's do it again. Neutral seated, beginning of the corner, accelerated seated, coming out of the corner, and brake back. I want you guys touching your brakes. You gotta do the movements. Okay? Reps. We're getting reps. Alright, and reset. That's what I want to hear. We hear all the springs bringing the brakes back. I want to hear all the bikes do that when we reset. Neutral seated, accelerate out of the corner, and brake back. Hold it and reset. There we go. There we go. There we go. That looks nice. All right, neutral seated, beginning of the corner. Exit the corner. Our feet are tight, knees are tight, hips are rotated out. Long back, big elbows. All right, accelerate forward, chest first. Hold the throttle and brake back. Okay, why do we want to go back so quick? Parents, listen up. This is good.
So you can break hard?
Yes, we can get traction in the back tire. Remember we just had that talk about what are the two things that makes the bike stall? Over braking and no weight on the back tire. So if we snap that weight back, we're taking our upper body and shifting it from the front tire to the back tire. Okay? Next piece, why do we want to go back? Or why do we want to go back quick, I should say. Sorry, I missed that.
Traction? Would be traction?
Traction is definitely a piece of the puzzle. Think about it, like I said in the beginning, everything is based off of your speed. Okay? We would all agree that we should be rolling power on fairly smoothly. It shouldn't be a dump of power, ever. If you hit the corner right, it should be a roll. If you're anxious, if you're having anxious riding style, I call it, you're clutching and wide open trying to get to the power. This tells me you're not shifting enough and you're not smooth. Okay? And if you're not smooth, when you get to the tracks that are rough, you don't win. Right? That's the reality of it. You can't override those type of tracks. Okay, so we snap back because we snap throttle forward. Right? We'd all agree that we roll power on, so we roll weight forward. And then when we brake, we don't roll power off. We go, and we chop. And so our body has to do the same thing. In order to be in balance with the bike's doing, if we're meeting our brakes with the power off, we've got to meet the back position quick. It's important to learn seated, much easier to learn seated, but it's everything standing. It's everything with your braking standing. So we're neutral seated, right? Let's all go with it. We're going to roll power forward, coming out the corner, smooth in the right ear, and then snap off of that. There you go. You should get a little wheelie out of the front tire. Okay? All right? This is going to be our second drill that we do on our oval days. Is moving forward, moving back motion. Okay? All right, let's do it one more time. Neutral seated, power forward. We're holding power. Maybe we shift here, right? Shift up, and brake down. Woo! Big release. All right, we starting to feel it? Okay, let's go through our standing sequence and then we'll tie them together. What do we do after?